What is up, you guys? Welcome back to How to Love a Battered Woman. My name is Nia Renee, your favorite how-to girl, and today we're going to talk about how to set boundaries with abusive parents. I just want to start off with a quick disclaimer because this advice is only really going to work for certain people because for me, I currently do not live with my parents. I have no financial ties to my parents. They have zero control over what I do. So this advice might not work for you exactly. So you might have to tailor it to your needs, but I'm still going to give you the tips and tricks that work for me because I'm grown and I don't have time to be dealing with anything outside of what I can control, and I can control this situation. So let's get into it. Okay, the first tip is pretty simple. It's pretty easy. Try and talk to them. But it might not be that easy. I have had to have more than one conversation with my father about the boundaries that I needed to set with him and why I felt the way that I did. And the issue with that is we had to have that conversation more than once. In my personal opinion, if I have to tell you more than once how to treat me, then you're going to get the axe. But my father and I have really worked very, very hard at setting very strict boundaries with each other, and it's improved our relationship significantly. Now, with my birth mother, I don't talk to her at all. I haven't spoken to her in almost 10 years, it feels like. So those boundaries did not work for her and I, but the boundaries definitely worked between me and my father. By simply talking to them, you can say, hey, when you do this, it causes me to feel this way, and I would appreciate it if we went about it a different way. And doing that allows them to realize how their behavior is affecting you. And one of two things are going to happen. One, they're either going to care, or two, they're not going to care at all. With my dad, it heavily affected him when I told him what his behavior was doing to me. And it got to the point where you either fix your behavior or we're not going to have a conversation, which leads me into number 2 trick, the ultimatum, which I feel like you should never have to give somebody, but I definitely had to give my father an ultimatum. The ultimatum for me is very, very hard because I feel like if it gets to a place in any relationship, you have to set ultimatums. You shouldn't have that relationship. But that trick really worked for my dad because he realized that he was about to lose me and I'm his only child. And that would have been horrific for him to not have any contact with me at all. Setting the boundary of the ultimatum is, I feel this way because your behavior has affected me so much that it's making me not want to have a relationship with you. And if you can't understand why X, Y, and Z has hurt my feelings or affected me as heavily as it does, then we don't need to have a conversation and we don't need to have that. You have to have a certain level of accepting that potentially is not going to work. Dealing with abusive parents, whether they realize their behavior is abusive or not, is a very tricky conversation to have and a very tricky situation to be in. But the biggest thing that you can do in any of your situations of gaining control and holding people accountable for their boundaries is what I just said, accountability. Any boundary you set isn't going to be a boundary unless you hold them accountable for their behavior. And like I said earlier, if you have to do it more than once, then you really need to start reevaluating if they're taking you seriously or not. Because at the end of the day, the things that are the most important to you is you having your own control, protecting your peace at all costs. And if it's affecting you that heavily, then they don't need to be in your life. That's parents, friends, platonic relationships, work relationships, romantic relationships. That goes for any relationship that you're having. You cannot have strong boundaries in your relationships if you do not hold them accountable. Accountability. So these are just my 3 quick tips that I can give anybody. Like I said, it's not really going to work for a lot of people because certain people are in situations of financial abuse with their parents in their relationship. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to assert these 3 different tips that I have. I can do more videos like this, so please comment and let me know if you want me to dive deeper into any of those things. Some of these videos are really short and quick and straight to the point. But if you would like for me to go in depth on any one of these, just leave a comment, let me know, and I can do more videos. Anyways, love you guys. See you next time.